here, we're going to introduce you today to Waukegan Wellness. My name's Annemarie. I'm going to be one of your hosts, and we'll be back in just a minute to introduce you to our first guest.
Waukegan Wellness, and why now?
How do we take one city and change the mentality and the environment and help the people realize that there is a different world that we can experience? All the resources are here. Mm-hmm. And that's, I think what's troubling to me is all these resources are here, but nobody's working together.
The hub in downtown Waukegan is the place to launch your business. The new business spot for you. Free Wi-Fi, free conference room, free use of office space, discount on studios and classroom space, free scanning, free printing, and also memberships to be able to meet with our experts. For the first 6 months, you can be able to get you a business office space and drop-in mail space for only $75. And most importantly, building a connection with other entrepreneurs just like you.
We're Waukegan Wellness, we're back, and I am so excited to introduce you to our first two guests. They're the men who started Waukegan Wellness. I want to talk to them a little bit about what is Waukegan Wellness and a little bit about their future vision. Michael, thanks for being here.
Well, I'm very happy to be here, Annemarie.
Absolutely. So let's start a little bit. I ask everybody the same question. Tell us a little bit about your story.
Well, let's see. I'm 48 years old. I grew up in Chicago in a little one-bedroom apartment with my mother and my grandmother. It's a strangely odd story, but I lived on a third-floor apartment and spent a lot of the time looking at the roofs of all the two-flat buildings in Chicago. Everybody's familiar with those. And so I didn't realize how small my living spaces were until I went to college. Got in a dorm with 3 other people and still had more room than where I grew up. And so you come back home and you're like, wow, this place shrank. But I was happy. I went all over the city. I had never felt in danger. I had a great neighborhood. Everybody looked out for each other. It was a great place to grow up.
That's awesome. I love that. I love hearing people's background. So now let's talk about Waukegan Wellness. What is it and why Waukegan Wellness?
Well, Waukegan Wellness is a vision that Jarmel and I came up with, trying to figure out why people are so detached from themselves, you might say. There's nobody's really paying attention to the foods that go into their mouths. They're not paying attention because they go to the doctor. The doctor says, oh, here, take some medications. We'll fix it. But nobody's really doing the proactive stuff, their diets, the exercise, doing yoga, things along the lines that are accessible to them. And we couldn't figure out why. And we just tried to start talking to people and asking, what do we got to do to make this more accessible? And a lot of it was very expensive. If you go to a nutritionist, that's going to cost you a few $100s because a lot of insurances aren't going to take it. And then you got to go to a fitness place, and then you got to do all these things. We're like, it gets very expensive, especially people in the lower income brackets that you're just pinching every penny just to make it.
Right.
And then you look at foods and you can buy, 3 boxes of mac and cheese for $2.50, but one organic apple costs you $3. And where are you spending your money is like where I can stretch it. The mac and cheese may not be great for my family, but I can feed the family.
Right.
And I can't feed them on an apple.
Exactly.
So a lot of the things we've been working on over the last couple of years have been creating that accessibility. And Waukegan Wellness is a story that we can portray and bring people in this arena out so people can do stuff at home. You want to do yoga at home, you want to do diet at home, you want to learn how to cook vegetables, you can access it through the web portal.
I love that. So tell us, where is Waukegan?
Waukegan is smack dab between Milwaukee and Chicago. If you drew a straight line down the coast, the coast of Lake Michigan, it's right in the middle of it.
So why here? Why this project here?
Lake County is in Illinois and is probably one of the richest counties in the country. But yet Waukegan, being the county seat, has a lot of low-income people in it. And we don't feel that if you have the money, you can access personal trainers, personal chefs, people to make your own food. You don't need us. Mm-hmm. We want to make all of this nutrition and wellness and education accessible for everybody.
Right.
And so we thought Waukegan has a lot of great energy. It's right on the lakefront, immense amount of parks. The park system here is fantastic. And there's just this great energy that comes, and the history that comes with this town, that we just feel it. And we said, this is a great place to be.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, you can. It's definitely palpable. You can feel it. And I like the fact that you talk about, affordability, access, and education. So even things like, we know that going in for, a mammogram and a pap smear from a prevention perspective is really good. And even talking to people about, why is that important and what are the resources and where are the access, and we know that, yoga is good for the mind and body. And if you can't afford, or there isn't the option for yoga, where can we point you towards? So is that something that you also see Waukegan Wellness just pointing people towards resources?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And making that a digestible format. So one of the things we did was we started launching farmers markets to bring natural goods in. Then people told us, well, those are too expensive. They're more than the store. So I said, okay, well, what if we partnered with Snap and Link and offer the swipe cards? But then there's another program where you have the Link Match program where they're doubling your dollars. And so we're trying everything we can to make this more accessible. We're working with yoga instructors that we're going to start doing some recordings so that way you could do it in your own house. You don't have to go spend $50 on a membership somewhere, take time out of your day. You just move some of the furniture out of the way and do it at home.
I love that. So talk to me about your personal experience with yoga. I know you've been in one of my classes. I know you've been in one at Jarmel's. Like, do you feel a difference? What's the mind-body connection for you?
When I'm doing it on a regular basis, clearly I haven't been lately, but when I was working with Jarmel on the yoga last year, when we first started this, we were every day. Every day we were doing the yoga, and I lost 30 pounds in about 2 months. And I wasn't really changing my diet much. I was starting to move towards more vegetables and changing a little bit, but more of it was just the physical movement every day in particular ways that it wasn't really difficult. Right. A lot of it reminded me of calisthenics when I was in baseball and football when I was a kid. Most of the movements were the same. I was like, wait, this is yoga? I've been doing yoga since I was a child. But it's just making that accessible, moving your body in particular ways. It feels better.
And what about the concept that you're doing that so your other choices are different? Like, is what comes first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. I think when you start moving your body in ways that you feel better, you don't want to put as much garbage in. Yeah. And there is a huge mind-body connection. Yeah. And the sad part is right now, anywhere like Waukegan, North Chicago, I moved into North Chicago about 6 years ago. It's 99% fast food. And so the accessibility still isn't really there. Right. So you may want to do great things. Right. But then you go to the store and you got maybe some vegetables from Mexico or Canada that are traveling thousands of miles. Yeah. There's not a lot of close farm goods. Yeah. And every restaurant is deep fried everything. You can't even find most vegetable options, but there are some great places in Waukegan now that are offering more vegetable options. And the more people ask for them, the more the chefs will go, all right, well, let's try some out. Yeah, let's 100%. Do some different things. But we have to push them. You know, we have to tell them that's what we want.
So let's talk a little bit about you're a serial entrepreneur. Every time I talk to you, you get a new idea coming up. So financial wellness definitely plays a critical part in someone's overall well-being. Talk to me a little bit about what it feels like to be an entrepreneur and how that helps you, like from a financial wellness perspective. Like, just talk to me a little bit about that. What's available to people?
One of the resources is at the hub in downtown Waukegan, where we have a team of people that will help you get that off the ground. But being an entrepreneur, I would say, is more about mental health than financial health. If you're looking for a paycheck with benefits, being an entrepreneur, that ain't it. That ain't it. You get. But I will say that the freedom to create something of your own, and the profit's great. When it comes, but be able to create something and people buy into it, that's, I don't know, to me, it's more financial and spiritually well.
Absolutely. All right. Final question. What does wellness mean to you?
Wellness to me is the whole mind body picture, but it's even bigger than that. It's your environment. It's everything that feeds into making you just is the whole being.
Yeah.
You need to physically move to be well. You need to eat the proper nutrition. You wouldn't dump garbage in your gas tank. So why would you dump garbage in your own gas tank that you need fuel? So it's just keeping all of that together in your community. What is everybody healthy helps everyone else out. Everybody's sick. It's no good.
Absolutely. Well, we're so excited to be here. I can't wait for you to meet Jarmel. We'll be back in just a minute.
It's a part of a movement. We've talked about what happens when the food system shuts down. I don't care if you got $50 million in the bank. And food just is so important to everybody. As individuals, we can control the little pieces, but the wellness piece, if we are destroying the planet while trying to get ourselves well, it's not well. We've overcome to this system, this societal system that says, oh, we'll take care of you, unless you don't do what we tell you to do.
My experience with the chocolate chip summer camp was very good. There was coding, which was fun to make your own little world. And then we got to do VR, which was also like we coded it.
During the first half of the session, we got to build our own world and got to see inside of it.
So designing it was very helpful. So now I can use it with my own and get more use out of it.
There was just so many options, and also it was just so amazing to realize all of this was made with coding, which we also study later on in the camp.
Coding is when you take art and stuff, you can make games, develop games and stuff. My experience with drones was very fun and exciting. We learned new tricks to do with the drones, we made it land on our hand.
We would do a lot of competitions where we have to do obstacle courses. It was a really fun experience. We would also do games, we would do racing, and if we won, we would sometimes get gift cards.
It's a fun place, and lunch is really good, and you can make a lot of friends here, and it's just really fun. So that's a couple reasons why I love chocolate chips.
Greater Waukegan Development Coalition and its partners would like to invite you, if you are a woman, minority, or veteran-owned business looking to gain contracts with large institutions, GWDC, Illinois Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and the Black Chamber of Commerce are working to ensure just that. We are committed to helping small disadvantaged businesses in the North Chicago, Park City, Waukegan, Beach Park, and Zion communities. Our goal is to help build a thriving economy for our communities. Let us start with you.
We're Waukegan Wellness, and we're back. My name is Annemarie, and I can't wait to introduce you to the second half of Waukegan Wellness, Jarmel.
What's up?
Thanks for being here.
I'm good. Thank you for letting me come on your show.
Absolutely. So start the same question every time. Tell us a little bit about your story.
All right. Just giving a little briefing about my story. So I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri. Me and my mother and my brother, and it was just a community, and I don't know. I could just say that it was a community. I didn't know that I didn't have a lot until somebody told me we didn't have certain things. And so, and in that time, it was just I used to go back and forth between St. Louis and Mississippi. So my mother used to drop us off every summer in Mississippi. And so what I learned down there is how to be able to garden and do all those different type of things. And we had pigs, we had horses, we had dirt roads that we were going on. It was way different from being in the city. It was more so we were cultivating things.
Sure.
And so, and then I'll go back to the city and we didn't have any of that. And we were eating this way when I would go down there, and then we were eating another way when I was coming back. And I realized it was man, I like the way that we was doing things when we were down south and doing these different type of things. And so as I got older, I started eating a different type of way. And then I got with Michael and we started doing this thing, and I'm here.
Yeah. So I asked Michael the same question, but what is Waukegan Wellness?
Waukegan Wellness is just pretty much like a bunch of resources. I think it's something that the community can be able to be like, you know what? Here's something we can all come together on. Even if we have disagreements on race, we have disagreements on the way we eat, we have disagreements on this. I think the one thing that we all can come together on is trying to be able to fix our own mental health, and then also trying to better our own communities. I think we all have that in common. I think people all are good people. I think they just need to be able to have the resources. So I think that's what Waukegan Wellness should represent for people.
I love that. So let's talk a little bit about your connection. Let's go to your yoga school.
Yeah.
So tell me why you started practicing.
A little bit how I got into yoga was more so I was working at a restaurant here when I first moved to the Waukegan Lake County area. And I was working in this vegan restaurant with this guy. His name's Babe, and he was showing me about yoga. And I was super interested because he was talking about how it can help you with your mind. And I'm just like, oh man, this is just this, you see somebody stretching and doing all this stuff. You're like, this can't help you mentally with your mind and discipline. And after I did it, it just like, it changed my life. I did a 360, like for real, gave up, just having all these attachments to different things and feeling a way about certain things. And it changed my life. It's like a whole new me.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think people think yoga is about your condition, but it really, yoga is breath.
Yes, that's it.
That's what it is.
That's
you
it.
Sit in a room and do nothing, and you can be practicing yoga. And I also talk to people all the time, like the hardest asana for people to do is horse pose. So literally lay there
and stay.
And stay.
Yeah, because we have so much stuff that makes us want to move. Hypertension. It just always want to go. We got people that got cell phones in their hands all the time. So they're always wanting to be active. The hardest thing for them to do is sit. When you talk about sitting, that is a practice. And that's the thing about it. And it's always called the yoga practice. You are always practicing yoga. So when I hear people always talking about, oh, I don't want to see me doing this pose. I can't do this pose. It's like you're always practicing. You're going to get better as you practice yoga.
Absolutely. So from a global perspective, yoga has been around for thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is, it's a lot of people that look like you.
Mm-hmm.
But then we fast forward to right here in the U.S.
Yeah.
And yoga really doesn't look like you.
Nah, yoga is Western civilization when it comes over here. So, it becomes westernized and it just becomes this thing where it's like you just see white people doing yoga. And that's for real. You see when I grew up, it was older white women. We always laugh about this, but it's like, it's serious. We always see older white women doing yoga.
So tell me how breaking the barriers with this is part of your future story. Talk to me about that.
Just so say that again.
Yeah, so talk to me about breaking the barriers
Mm-hmm.
that black men can do yoga.
Yeah.
And it is completely manly or whatever word you want to use, right? But talk to me about that. Like this is part of your story. You talk to people about spirituality, grounding, and yoga, and being present, and diving into cold water. I mean, you're doing things that are definitely breaking barriers.
Yeah.
But how is that part of your story? Like, how do you want to manifest this to other people?
Man, so for me, it was more so like I grew up seeing a lot of things that I probably didn't have any business in. And some of the stuff that I saw wasn't even that I was I was just at that place. I don't call it the wrong place in the right time. It was just I was at that place. And for me, it used to cripple me holding on. I used to have a lot of bad relationships with people. I had a lot of, I just couldn't let go. And so for me, it's just to be able to show people in our community that come from my community that they could be able to just get over this stuff, man, and like really deal with your own trauma.
Yeah.
you gotta learn how to be able to sit and deal with your own trauma. So I want to be able to help people be able to get to this place where they can just start feeling free and not worry about what society places on us and what they tell us we can and we can't do.
I love that. And there's value there. I love when Michael was talking to you and he talked about this being a place for stories.
Yeah.
And we're not telling you, if you listen to our story or your story or John Smith's story, that's going to be your solution.
Right.
But the more we're exposed, I think it prevents the possibility.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's more so getting comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of the times it's like we're so comfortable doing what it is that we're doing that when we present something different, it's like, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And in reality, we're all supposed to be living in the unknown and living in that thing where it's like, you know what, on a day-to-day, I'm a blank piece of paper, no matter what anybody has to say about me. Right? You can resort back to me about yesterday or resort back to who it was, but every day I'm trying to be able to be a new version of myself. And I think that's what we have to learn how to just continue every day to reset.
Yeah, but every day is an opportunity to reinvent yourself.
Absolutely.
And it's interesting because people, I know that have this happen before, while you ask about someone's past. It's not that your past doesn't serve a purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not being stuck in that place where you're not open to the possibility of something new different.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, you know, it's okay to look at the past.
Yep.
Because looking at the past can only prepare you for a better future. It's looking at the past, not being stuck in the past. And that's a totally different thing. It's like knowing and doing. You can know something, but doing it is a whole nother process. I don't care about you knowing something. I'd rather see you do it. So it's just one of those things, you know.
So tell me what wellness means to you.
Wellness.
That's the last question.
Yeah. Wellness to me is just what you make it. I don't think it has a particular thing that you're doing. I think whatever it is that makes you free, makes you happy, makes you be able to speak and live in whatever that truth is completely wellness. Because at the end of the day, you're going to find exactly what it is that you're looking for, and it's going to heal you. Really? Well, look at that. If not, we get ready to make it. We just got the song title.
Exactly. You still don't know what you're looking for.
Yeah, you don't know what you're looking for until you find it.
Exactly.
Jarmel Reece, the publishing rights on that one too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's it. We've got it. We haven't even talked about you being an entrepreneur. We're going to have to save that for next.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Well, we are so glad that you guys took the time to tune in. We are Waukegan Wellness. We are going to be back next week with a new guest, and who knows, this could potentially even be you.
We're going to talk about everything that is happening here in District 60, the things that are important to my residents, workers' rights, women's rights, LGBTQ rights. Every single person in this district deserves to be represented. We have so many different ethnicities here. We are a wonderful melting pot of people. Oh my God, we have the best food restaurants in Waukegan. Things that you may not see, things that will never show up in the news. The individuals who are actually here doing the work, the small mom and pop companies, are unsung heroes. I want to highlight who's doing what in District 60.
Waukegan Wellness, and why now?
How do we take one city and change the mentality and the environment and help the people realize that there is a different world that we can experience? All the resources are here. And that's, I think, what's troubling to me is all these resources are here, but nobody's working together.